Since World of Warcraft's inception from 2004, it's always fundamentally been a PvE game. I mean, it is an MMO after all. Sure, you had BGs and later arenas and TBC, but even since its inception, PvP has always felt like an afterthought. A mini-game for people who want to dabble in something else temporarily until their new shiny raid or dungeon comes out. I personally started playing WoW from MOP, and I didn't seriously start PvPing until BFA. I didn't think much of it at the time, so I didn't really bother trying to get better at it or understand what the appeal was. After PvPing for 6 years now, I can confidently say WoW Arenas is one of the most satisfying PvP games I've experienced. Even when compared to games that are primarily PvP focused like League of Legends, Overwatch, Counter-Strike, etc., I still enjoy WoW Arenas more. While I might be biased because of the time I've spent playing WoW in general, I want to give my perspective on what aspects of it are enjoyable and what aspects aren't. Big damage! I think for most people, even for people who just got into PvP recently, playing the OP spec and one-shotting someone in the opener probably feels pretty good. It's pretty frustrating on the opposing end, and I think bursts shouldn't be too crazy, but having someone's HP bar visibly move is satisfying. I know it's hard to make a meta where damage matters too much because you just get metas now where people don't even go for CC, people spam AoE, and it just kind of becomes this race for whoever ooms the healer first or makes them run out of CDs wins. I think big single target burst is good, but big AoE burst is where it kind of muddies the water. CC immunity. As a warrior main, this is probably my favorite aspect of WoW Arenas. Nothing feels greater than fighting a rogue and blade storming their kidney. You know they're mad whenever you do it. I really enjoy all of WoW's interactions with CC, whether you're a warrior blade storming, a rogue pre-cloaking, a DH vengeful retreating with glimpse, or even a fade on priest, you name it. It just feels satisfying to outplay your opponent and predict their next move based on what's happening in a given game. I will say this though, with all the add-ons in the game, it's hard to say if we're really outplaying our opponent or if we're just staring at Omnibar diminish or listening to weak auras shouting air horns in our ears. Long CC chains. This is something that I feel like has been a bit lost since Dragonflight. CC has been a major strategy for setup-based comps. You can still do some CC setups, but for the most part it's small setups and just doing maximum damage. I know with the introduction to solo shuffle and more people getting into PvP, CC is a big turnoff. But in arenas, especially 3v3s, has historically been a large part of PvP. I'm not sure what the best solution for this problem is because CC definitely can be frustrating. Maybe for 3v3 to have a different rule set for CC than Shuffle? That might just dwindle the participation even further though. It's hard to say. PvP rating system. The rating system in PvP feels extremely outdated. It's more or less been the same as it's been since TBC besides title cutoffs being lower rating and Gladiator being obtained for 50 wins above Elite instead of being 0.5% at the end of a season. I think the Gladiator change in BFA was really positive for the game in multiple ways. It made the Gladiator mount significantly easier to get, and with them also making them account wide was the push I needed back then to push for my first Glad mount. I think the main problem with the rating system right now, especially with the lack of participation in the 3v3 bracket, is only the very top players can earn the rewards. There's a reason why people wait for inflation for the whole season to only come back in the last month. There's no point in pushing when the rewards are much easier to get later with less effort. This needs to change. If Blizzard wants the 3v3 ladder to be active throughout an entire season, the difficulty to earn rewards at the beginning of the season should be about the same difficulty as it is at the end. We shouldn't have to wait 4 to 5 months to earn rewards. It's not fun. Add-ons. Add-ons over time in PvP have really changed the game a lot. Even as someone who uses a ton of them, I think it's negatively impacting the game. As I mentioned, add-ons like Omnibar and Weak Auras feel like they're playing the game for you. It feels like you don't even need to look at a debuff or animation because you can just have an add-on yell at you if someone pops a scary CD. I don't think this is good for the game. When someone uses an ability, a player should react to it based on what they see their opponent do, not some air horn. I think another big problem is it creates a feedback loop where new players who don't have a specific add-on play worse than those who do. This creates another barrier to entry to an already small community. While I do think add-ons play too big of a role in the game currently, the base game just lacks a lot of essential features. Like, how has WoW Arenas been out since 2007 and there's still no in-game DR tracker? Barrier to entry. I briefly mentioned add-ons being a barrier to entry for new WoW players, although this is not the only one. When you think of any PvP game, whether it's an FPS, a MOBA, a Battle Royale, whatever, you can just download the game and then just press Q. You don't need a level, look up talents, make macros specifically for Arena, look up what gear stats you need, send an LFG for an hour for a healer to leave after one loss. No, you can simply just play. I will say this though, in recent years the time it takes to level up and gear up in PvP has been drastically reduced. This is great for people who already play, but no matter how fast this process is, I still think it's a huge turnoff to a PvP gamer demographic. I think WoW's PvP, no matter how fun, will never thrive beyond its current state because people who play games for PvP and people who play them for PvE are two different demographics. WoW is an MMO, you should have the PvE first. It doesn't matter, the numbers don't lie. Yeah, sure, WoW is an MMO, but if you want a PvP game to be successful, it has to be a standalone. Most people live busy lives. The last thing they want to do is get off from work and then invest 20 to 30 hours to do something they don't enjoy just to do the thing that they do enjoy. It's just counterintuitive. I don't know if Blizzard should just make PvP modes in the starting menu of WoW and completely take away the leveling and gearing process for PvP specifically, or alternatively make it a standalone game completely. Regardless though, what I do know is the more accessible a game is, and the less investment a person has to make, is more likely to try it out. Pay structure. There's also the pay structure of WoW. It has a sub fee, which I'm sure if someone just wants to try out PvP for the first time is probably hesitant to spend $15 for just 1 month of game time, plus the $50 box price of an expansion. Maybe make the PvP part of WoW standalone and free? I'm not sure, but anything is better than how it is now. Overall, I just want WoW Arenas to thrive. I don't think this video will change much, and I'm sure there's a bunch of aspects I haven't mentioned, but I generally want to see the game get better. I think WoW Arenas and WoW PvP in general has a lot of untapped potential. I might be huffing copium saying this, but I do want to see it succeed. I doubt it can ever reach the heights of big FPS games or MOBAs, but to me, it will always have a special place in my heart. Thanks for watching.